all the risks finally translate down to the financials of any industry, and risk management overall hence becoming a critical concept. Before I enter into the need concept and fortifying the concept of risk management, let me take a few seconds to define risk itself. Risk basically translates to an indication of a threat, or a combination of threats translating from an impact, uncertainty, volatility, etc. From a statistical point of view, risk can also be translated to say a probability of an outcome which is undesirable. Now, from a context of economics and business, to actually be in a situation where you manage and encounter risks might not be really a bad situation. We all know the epitaph says that, higher the risk one takes, the better the rewards one gets. And all enterprises do have, as a stated intent, to make value for their stakeholders. Now, as you would want to maximize the values, one very fundamental thing would be to encounter those risks, and probably quite a number of them as well. And hence the concept and the need of risk management flows in.
So industry is right now going to a major turnaround, and we as an industry leader needs to work together to how to make it profitable.
If there were no capital markets and there were no risks, great innovations would never have come about. Risk, our ability to take it, manage it, fall from it, and rise again is what drives economic growth. So risks are part of life and must get taken. 3 risks that are facing the healthcare industry today. The first one is the cultural risk in the aspect of integration. You see a lot of healthcare groups integrating. I have worked for Max Healthcare and I've worked for Fortis Healthcare for many, many years. So I have seen both strategies. Max used the organic strategy of growth and Fortis used the inorganic strategy of growth. In both cases, the greatest risk was the cultural integration. Whenever you're trying to integrate 2 cultures, there's almost an autoimmune response which causes that risk. The second risk I would like to allude to is the obsolescence risk when we are faced with IT and medical equipment. What happens when a healthcare system starts is that you use cutting-edge technology. Soon it becomes obsolete. And then reinvesting and re-getting that equipment and upgrading it and getting people to train on it suddenly creates a big upswing in the capital investments, and that causes a huge financial risk. The last one is the one facing us, and a lot of us have alluded to it, is the price changes in the market. I think you've all heard of seismic shocks. When an earthquake happens and the tectonic plates shift, seismic shocks happen. What is very, very unique about these seismic shocks is that they're sudden, they're unexpected, and they're not planned for. I think, in my opinion, the price controls being imposed by the government, whilst the Ayushman Bharat is a great scheme and it's laudable what it's trying to do, but the price controls which are unilaterally being imposed and the price caps which are being imposed, I think are very, very like seismic shifts. They shake up the financial planning of the system. They get people, catch them unaware. They're sudden, they're unexpected, and they cannot be planned for. And I think it should be a more inclusive planning where the government should involve the private healthcare players, the key opinion leaders, and some individuals who can give opinions on how to manage these price controls.
Risk is something not to fear about. Risk is something to manage. And in this area of risk management, COSO framework has given a huge value addition to the whole gap which industry was indeed. So what to do about managing this all risk, whether it is price control, whether it is government decision, these decisions are not in our hand, but what we can do is we can face it in very well designed manner. Financial risk, actually I would like to highlight majorly liquidity risk, which is, you will find n number of example in the industry, but it is something which can be handled very, very easily. I just listed down some examples of liquidity risk, which we commonly see in the sick industries, in the sick units. When we say sick, sick is something which is related to human being, but organization is not a human being. So it becomes sick by the processes, not by illness. So this process, it is all about design the right process, implement it rightly as it fit to the organizational culture. As mentioned, Ms. Dilpreet, integration of culture. So that is that important. It can completely, just create a big mesh in your organization. So few risks which actually I listed down for benefit of all. You must see many organizations face high interest liability. At the end, they are not able to meet out because they don't have enough fund. It is the problem of the fund or the planning. You decide. In my view, it is just the planning which is not done properly. That's why we face this issue. The salaries are paid through loans. Is it the way we run the organization? Salary, manpower cost is something which earns for the organization, and it is never expected that an organization is paying salaries through loans. Then we can say term loan is utilized for working capital. Working capital is something which is very, very important to be designed well. If it is not designed well, obviously you will go into debt, and completely finished. So design well working capital. When we talk about working capital, all know simply it is current asset minus current liabilities. But why so many current assets? Do our industry need that much positive, even positive working capital is not required for a healthcare organization, majorly. In some cases, yes, it is required, but most of the cases is not required because we are the industry which work 50% or more than 50% on the cash business. Patient comes and pays on the counter. Then 50% is only on the credit mode, and that is to further controlled manner. Then are we not that efficient to use the vendor fund properly just to maintain our working capital? This is pure operational efficiency issue if anybody is facing positive working capital in a diagnostic or a general multi-specialty hospital. Sales through government empanelment, yes, most of organization goes for it, and most of them just left out with big write-offs. Not only in government empanelments, but in the general business also, your sales team comes and businesses come and they say, this client don't want to pay, this client is not trustable, just to write off. Is it the way we do the business? This is the poor planning, nothing else.
The risks are multifaceted, the risks are multidimensional, and there are risks eliminating or emanating from various other functions, which actually ultimately culminate into the financial risk, which ultimately reflect on the balance sheets of the organizations. It's important to maybe identify the risks, prioritize your risks, and work upon them one by one.
The healthcare scenario in the country is going to see a change. And that probably your point of integration. See, the uncertainty right now is whether there will be a integration of the units or disintegration of units, because in some opinions, the smaller players are going to succeed in the marketplace, and the bigger players are not going to be that good as they were. And the second opinion is that the smaller players are going to consolidate into bigger players. And that is where we probably need to foresee the situation and actually do a post-event merger, what we call the post-merger, this integration exercises of the various cultures.
India's healthcare industry is one of the fastest growing sectors, and in the next 10 years, it is likely to reach $275 billion. With growing consumer needs for high-end diagnostics, improved medical quality and precision, the capital investment in the sector has grown multifold. The sector in India is well diversified, full of opportunities. Medical tourism is growing at 20-25%. Standard Chartered Bank is proud to be partner in this growth with our specialized products to cater to your needs for effective collections and payments. We are focused on helping your business by providing bespoke solutions using our expertise developed over the years and across markets. We have a legacy of 160 years in India.